Chapter 725, The Power of the Divine Dragon Bone. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Captain Rat looked at Zhang Yuochen with a grim smile. He moved forward while showing two sharp teeth. Quack, quack. You're really something. Our moon worship sect has always killed people. We never thought anyone would dare to kill our palace-keeping beast guardian. Since you have, you won't be coming out of the rock cave alive today. Eldest brother, you don't need to personally fight such a small potato. Let me deal with him. After regulating his breathing for a while, Dragon 3's injury had healed. Dragon 3's physical quality was originally strong. As he refined the divine dragon bone into his body became tougher. It only took a moment for his common injuries to spontaneously cure. Captain Rat took a quick glance at Dragon 3, then said with a smile, "Third brother, this guy is not weak. Are you sure you can beat him?" Dragon 3 laughed. "Eldest brother, don't you believe in my ability? Just now, I was slightly injured simply due to my carelessness. If we fight seriously, I will not lose to him." Captain Rat looked at Ouyang Huan with questioning eyes. Ouyang Huan contemplated for a moment and then nodded as he said, "Third brother, since you want to fight, I shall grant your request. However, you must remember that if you're defeated once again, you'll be punished." "Yes, I get it." Having gained the Divine Sun's acceptance, Dragon 3 was suddenly relieved. By relying on his own strength, he could finally win back his face. Anyway, he had to defeat Lin Yue this time, or even kill him. "Are you really trying to kill people from the Yin and Yang sect?" Dragon 3 laughed while he replied, "Lin Yue, are you afraid?" Zhang Yuochen shook his head as he said, "I'm not afraid at all. I just want to remind you that anyone who dares to kill people from the Yin and Yang sect will definitely die. After killing people, do you think you can escape by using the power of the Imperial Edict? Are you daydreaming?" Dragon 3 planned to open the Imperial Edict immediately to escape the Yin and Yang sect after killing Aoxinian. At worst, he would not participate in the Sword Technique Conference. But now, he was a little nervous after Lin Yue had seen through his plan. The Yin and Yang sect might have made some arrangements. "Even though I have the Imperial Edict, I can't escape." Dragon 3 shifted his gaze as he said, "What do you mean exactly?" Zhang Yuochen put the heavily injured Aoxinian back on a chair. He unhurriedly said, "Do you want to sign a life and death contract? I won't take the responsibility if I kill you, and vice versa." Upon hearing this, Dragon 3 suddenly laughed and said, "Do you think you can scare me away with these words? Since you want to die, I'll make it happen." Dragon 3 cut his finger and, using his dragon blood, wrote a life and death contract on a stone pillar. Without hesitation, Zhang Yuochen also wrote a life and death contract on the other stone pillar using his blood. Zhang Yuochen had his own reason for doing this. Dragon 3's life had no value. However, Zhang Yuochen had to get the divine dragon bone. "It's too narrow here. Let's go fight in the Colosseum of Shantai City. I'll regain face personally." A pair of black dragon wings unfolded from Dragon 3's back. As he fluttered his wings, he turned into a black light and rushed out ahead. Zhang Yuochen turned around and looked at Aoxinian as he said, "Can I use the Blue Water Dragon patterned sword?" "How do you know it's called the Blue Water Dragon patterned sword?" There was a faint smile on her pale face. Ha ha. Zhang Yuochen knew that Aoxinian had certainly suspected him. Therefore, he did not offer up any explanation. He held the Blue Water Dragon patterned sword, displayed his bodily movement, ran out of the rock cave gate, and flew toward the Colosseum in the center of Shantai City. In the rock cave, Huang Yanqun went over to Aoxinian and lifted her up. Huang Yanqun asked in doubt, "Why do I feel that you and Lin Yue are familiar with each other? Did you know him before?" Aoxinian had a strange look on her face and pursed her lips slightly. "Perhaps he really is an acquaintance of mine. I'm not sure yet. When he finishes the battle with Dragon 3, I'll ask him personally." Actually, Aoxinian thought it was 50-50 whether or not Lin Yue was Zhang Yuochen. However, she could hardly believe that a dead man could live well in the world. And if he were Zhang Yuochen, why didn't Huang Yanqun recognize him? All the talents present gradually left and hurried to Shantai City. Everybody was expecting Lin Yue to teach Dragon 3 a bitter lesson. And if he were to do so, the monks from the central region would know that there were talents in the cultivation circle of the eastern region. In the Colosseum, Dragon 3 and Jiang Yuochen stood opposite each other, 33 meters apart. Their momentum became stronger and stronger. I couldn't go all out in the rock cave. Now, I'll show you my real strength. Bulges came out of his skin and turned into fingernail-sized scales, covering up his whole body. He put his claws together and condensed into a ball of demonic dragon fire that hit the ground. Boom! The ball of demonic dragon fire suddenly cracked open and surged out in all directions. The battlefield within a 100-meter radius became a sea of flames. The fire was extremely hot. If a monk at the first change in the fish dragon realm touched it, he would probably begin to burn. Dragon 3 clearly knew that he could not hurt Lin Yue with the fire, but he could suppress him to a certain degree. Jiang Yuochen looked calm as he brandished the sword quickly to form a sword chi vortex that kept the fire away. Inside the vortex, he flew to a height of 33 meters and then stopped. He held the hilt with both hands and swooped down. As the sword turned into a sword column, he hastily thrust it at Dragon 3. The monks below the Colosseum could not see Jiang Yuochen's body. They could only see a sword chi vortex sweep through like a tornado. In the center of the vortex, a light column rushed at Dragon 3. How powerful his sword comprehension is. If I don't use the divine dragon bone, I can't match him. Dragon 3 changed his facial expression, finally realizing that his opponent was extremely powerful. He immediately ran the holy chi into his left arm to activate the power of the divine dragon bone. Howl! Like an ancient divine dragon's cry, a sonorous dragon roar came out from his left arm and spread throughout all of Shantai City. Centered on the Colosseum, the whole city slightly shook. The closer to the Colosseum the monks were, the stronger they could feel it. A fairly ancient and holy dragon aura emanated from Dragon 3. Some monks with relatively low cultivation almost knelt on the ground with trembling legs. The power of the divine dragon bone is really extraordinary. It deserves to be the treasure of the divine dragon and half-human clan. On the scene, a lot of talents from the eastern region had greed written on their faces. Many people secretly thought they would probably become a top master like Dragon 3 if they could get the divine dragon bone. Who less than a half-saint can withstand one strike from his claws with his cultivation and the power of the divine dragon bone? A saintly being in the 9th change in the fish dragon realm gasped. Dragon 3's left hand formed into a claw and attacked forward. Boom! The dragon claw collided with the holy sword to form two opposing forces. After retreating 23 meters, Dragon 3 dug in with his legs and regained his footing. Jiang Yuochen took 3 steps backward. Obviously, this battle was startling and incredible. Even though Dragon 3 activated the power of the divine dragon bone, he is still at a disadvantage. How freakish Lin Yue's strength is. Right now, the supercilious Huang Yanshan had to admit that Lin Yue was indeed a genius in the Tower of the Sword. But in her mind, Lin Yue still could not compare with Jiang Yuochen. The monks from the eastern region was both excited and surprised. The Yin and Yang sect disciples in Shantai City were thrilled to bits as they shouted, "Elder Brother Lin is mighty and powerful. He is wiping out the masters of the demonic sect and improving the prestige of our Yin and Yang sect. Elder Brother Lin's sword technique is invincible. He can kill demons and cut down dragons." In the end, all the talents from the major saints' powerful families and major sects shouted out. Ouyang Huan was very startled. It had not taken long for that man to become so strong. Besides that, he could see that Lin Yue had just recently reached the 7th change in the fish dragon realm. If he kept on developing, Lin Yue might become a formidable enemy. At the thought of this, Ouyang Huan's eyes turned cold. In the Colosseum, Jiang Yuochen was quite calm. He moved his body, rushed to up above Dragon 3, and brandished his sword. This seemingly casual strike was full of the mystery of the Tower of the Sword. Even if he wanted to dodge it, Dragon 3 was unable to, so he had to just accept it. Bang! Enough the movement. Dragon 3 retreated. The blue water dragon patterned sword had cut his arm, where a deep bloody wound appeared. As the divine dragon bone sent out its power, his bloody wound was instantly healed. Damn! There was a fireball of rage burning in his heart. He stood up and clenched his hands. With a crackle, his muscles began expanding. Then, he strode forward. With every step he took, he became 1 meter taller. By the time he got to the front of Jiang Yuochen, he had become a 30-meter tall, half-human half-dragon creature. The evil energy poured out from his body and changed into a black demonic cloud. Dragon 3 was originally a black-scaled flood dragon. If he showed his true body, it would probably cover all of Shantai City. A Colosseum could certainly not contain his body. At the moment, he merely presented the first-level form. Dragon 3 lifted up a claw as huge as a millstone and struck out with it. It penetrated through the demonic clouds and hit the top of Zhang Yuochen's head. The power of the divine dragon bone is so strong that even a saintly being can be seriously wounded. Zhang Yuochen was inferior to him in terms of power. However, Zhang Yuochen was superior at sword techniques, so he would not compete in brute force with Dragon 3. Zhang Yuochen turned around and disappeared. And when he reappeared, he was above the back of Dragon 3, swoosh. He lifted up his arms to hold the sword even with his shoulder. He released the power of the completion of Sword 1 and thrust the sword into Dragon 3's back. PFFT. The blue water dragon patterned sword pierced through Dragon 3's body. Under the strong force of impact, the huge body of this half-dragon half-human crashed to the ground. Blood gushed out from Dragon 3's back and abdomen like spring water, dyeing the whole Colosseum red.